Hey everyone, it's Adam Mitchell here, and we're back with another trade recap. And if you aren't subscribed, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and hit the like button. All right, so let's get into today's trades. So today, there was some opportunity. I was able to get some of it. I took some losses, but I'm ending the day up $32. So that's about halfway to my profit target. And it usually has been, looking that once I'm up like $30 to $40 to $50, it's like things start getting really difficult for me, and I just want to get to my profit target. And so I don't know, I'm still working on that because I want to hit my profit target every day of $60 to $100 a day. But, I'm only up 32. So, but yeah, let's get into the trades here. All right, so my first trade was on ADTX. I'm taking this dip right here, pre-market. I got 200 shares at 326. I'm about to sell it, and I lost like $4 on this trade or something. Yep, so I took a $4 loss. All right, that's my first trade. All right, so we can see here, so I'm going to be using the 20 moving average from now on as well. Shout out to Vernon Day Trades. He was commenting in some of my videos to check out the 20 moving average, and I'm finally putting it on my chart. And it's interesting, we could see price come down into the 20 moving average, but also we have this high on this candle here that's also at the same price as the 20. So that kind of created this double support at that level. So yeah, if I fast forward a little bit here, now we can see how it comes down into that level. So right there, it came down into the level and it bounced off of it nicely. So I thought that was pretty cool. And there were some other instances that I noticed throughout the morning, price bouncing off of the 20 moving average. So shout out to Vernon. All right, let's get into our next trade here. All right, so looking at ADTX, we can see right here how it's just been riding the 20. Right, so it bounces off of it and it's coming back down into the 20 moving average. But yeah, we can see here that I have this level mapped out, the pre-market lows, and then we have this level here, which seemed to be a big area of resistance at 330. So I've got this range mapped out here, and we can see at the open, it didn't break below the 20 moving average, and it just bounced off of it really nicely and came up into these levels here. And then here's my next trade. So I bought 200 shares at 319 as it dipped down into the 20 moving average. I'm thinking that this will be a nice dip entry. So, we bounced off of it a little bit, and I just went ahead and sold it. And I mean, we can see that it's, curling up off that level, like it's still holding. And I think it winds up pushing higher here. So while that trade was going on, I flashed over to ISPC. I got in with 100 shares, 200 shares at 243 at this level right here. And I don't know, I thought it was a good place to get in. We have all this support, and it's holding up support at 242, but then it just winds up cracking down, and it happened so fast. I'm going to press play that I wasn't able to stop out where I wanted to. It just came down super hard. Let's see here. Yeah, so right here, so boom, it just came down super hard, and I stopped out and I lost $14. So that wasn't very fun, but it came down into the lows here. And I'm going to pull this chart up actually, because off of those lows, I think it wound up curling up off of that level. Yeah, I'll pull this up. Yeah, I actually wound up taking another trade on it. But yeah, we can see off of these lows, it just ripped up nicely. The lows at 235 all the way up to 255. I mean, that's a pretty decent move. But let's see what my next trade was. Yeah, so fast forwarding back to ADTX, I mean, off of these lows here, as it's riding the 20 moving average, I mean, this is incredible how it's just riding it. And it didn't break below it. I should have still been holding that trade, right? I mean, because it curled up nicely, all the way from these levels down here at like 315 up to 360. I mean, that's an insane move right there, but I sold it super early. All right, so right here, I'm getting in on this dip, this 1 minute dip. I got in with 200 shares at 336, and I'm ultimately looking for this thing to rip back up to high of day. Let's see what happens. So right there, we're starting to get a bounce up, and I've got my order set to take profit at 350 to sell half, right? So I'm thinking I'm going to sell half for the tap of 350, and if it holds up and it squeezes up, I'll sell the rest. But if it comes back down, I'll stop out. So let's see here. So right there, we can see that it came up and filled my first order. So right there, and then I just went ahead and sold the whole thing. I just went ahead and stopped out for all of it. And as we can see, I'm up, $26 on this stock right now, but it continued to squeeze up even more, right? It came up into a high of 355. I'm not sure how much higher it went at this level, but this was a good trade, right? I got the dip entry. I held it until my profit target, and that was cool. All right, so my next trade was on LVTX. I'm getting this dip. I don't know. I think on the 5 minute, it was coming into the 20 moving average. Yeah, so I switched over to the 5 minute, and it's coming down into the 20 moving average. So I figured that we might get a bounce off this level, maybe back up into the 560 level. So I bought 100 shares at 515, and it wasn't really holding up. So I just went ahead and sold it. I mean, I think it cracked down. Yeah, so it wound up cracking down off that level. And I think that was my last trade on it. I'm going to check out the chart. Yeah, that was my only trade on this stock, but let's see what this thing wound up doing. Yeah, so it wound up breaking all the way down here to 430, which, I guess corresponds with this level back here. And then off of this 430 level, it ramped up to 507, 504. And, this is presenting some interesting opportunity here, but that was my only trade that I took on it. All right, what's my next trade? So coming back over to ISPC, I see this thing cracking up here. All right, I lost $14 on it on this dip trade down here. It flushed down super hard, came into the lows, bounced up, came up into VWAP, pulled back off those levels. I mean, there's some good opportunity throughout this price action here to be getting in at support levels and selling into resistance levels. And, now we have this double bottom down here at 236. It's bouncing up off that level, coming back up into these highs here. And I took a bit of a breakout trade on this stock, so I got in with 200 shares at 247 because I'm thinking that we might get a rip up into the highs here at around 255 maybe, hopefully up to 263. But this is a breakout trade, and breakout trades have proven to be pretty tricky lately. But let's see what it does. So it squeezed up and I sold it, and now I'm only down 8. I was down 14 and now I'm down 8. But yeah, this thing just continued to squeeze up. I think I sold it at 250. I mean, I could have locked up another $10 maybe on this trade. But yeah, so then I got in on a dip at 247 with 100 shares. And, we're kind of doing something here. I locked up another $5 for this squeeze up right here. And yeah, so I wind up taking more trades on this later in the morning, which we will get to that as the video goes on. But yeah, we can see here that this thing just keeps squeezing up, and I'm just not really capitalizing on it. I mean, we have all this support down here that's pushing price up. We have VWAP, the 9 moving average, the 20 moving average, the 200 moving average. So it's like off of these levels, price is curling up pretty nicely here. So this trade that I'm about to take right here is my next trade on ADTX. And, it was a decent entry. Let's see here. So right here, I'm getting in with 200 shares at 332. Right, because we're coming into this line that I had mapped out from pre-market, and it actually corresponds very nicely with these two candles right here as well. And so let's see what happens here. So I wind up selling this thing super quick for whatever reason, and I lost a couple bucks. And you know, it starts to squeeze back up. Yeah, I'm gonna pull the chart up on that real quick on ADTX. So like this was where I bought and sold it, was right in this level, and then it squeezes up nicely, comes back down, and it's just bouncing within this range here. And then on this trade right here, man, I really missed profit on this trade right here, but we'll get to that as the video goes on. All right, so right here, I'm getting in with 200 shares for this dip right here. And let's see. So it continues to dip lower, and I get in with another 100 shares. So now I'm in with 300 shares at 247. And of course, I'm not feeling too good about this. I'm down 14 bucks, which is getting really close to my max loss per trade. And let's see what it does. It starts to kind of bounce up off that level, and it's just kind of going sideways, right? So we can see that it's forming this very obvious consolidation area, this very obvious level of support at this level. So I'm really in a good spot, right? I mean, I'm in a little bit high at around 248, and the low of this range is like 242, 243. So I'm in a little bit high. I mean, I'm basically in near the top of this range. I mean, the top of the range is 248. That's pretty much where I'm at. So it is what it is. But yeah, it's holding up. You know, price is holding up. So we'll see what it does. So we can see it's still holding up. It hasn't cracked down yet. But I'm just like, man, like this is the type of situation that I find myself in where it's like I'm down. I don't want to be down anymore on it. And I don't want to see it flush down, and then I'm really down on it. It's like that situation of if you hold, it's going to go down. If you sell it, it's going to go up. But let's see what I do. I wound up selling it. So now I'm down 14 on it. I forget what I was down before, but in total, I'm down $14 on the stock. I think I lost maybe $6 on that trade, but I'm down on it. It's holding up still. Let's see what happens throughout the video here. So then I switch gears back over to ADTX. I've got an order out here to buy 150 shares for the break of this range. I cancel it because it looks like it's going to come down. And this is a trade that kind of annoyed me. So here we go. It's coming back down into the low of the range here. So I got in with 150 shares at 330. And we can see that it really just dropped off right there. And let's see, I went from being up 26 on it to being only up 19. But off of this level here, it really made a big turnaround, which is frustrating. I mean, how do I predict that this is going to be a low? I mean, I can look to the left, and I guess all of this junk right here, I don't know. But it cracked down, and it really turned around off of that level. You know, I'll pull the chart up. Yeah, so here we go. So I didn't take any more trades on this stock, but, you know, this is where I stopped out of it, and it bounced up, and it really just ripped up off those levels. And I'm just like, okay, how do I not miss that? You know, how do I make sure that because I was in a decent trade on it. And then, yeah, looking to the left, I guess when I see a bunch of junk like this, which is a bunch of consolidation, you know, maybe this area here is just a whole bunch of support. And it came down, and it, you know, came down to 323. So I'll put that level in and see what it looks like. So it came down into that level. And looking to the left, I mean, you know, it's, I don't know, it's tricky. It's tricky. But it really bounced up off of that level from 323 to 363, a 40-cent move. So I don't know, it's pretty annoying. So yeah, that was ADTX. I ended up, about 20 bucks on that stock. All right, let's see what continues to happen here. And all right, so then it starts to squeeze up. So right there, I got in with 300 shares at 245. And I'm going to be selling it if it breaks below this level, right? So I'm in 300 shares, 245. Now I'm looking for that squeeze back up back up near the highs. So let's see what happens. So it's squeezing up nicely. We're coming up into that $2.50 mark. And I'm really thinking that we're going to break it. So I'm holding it. So there we go. So we have the break now. Now we're up at 252. I'm up, about $18 on the trade so far. So boom, we got a really big squeeze right there. I'm not sure where I sold it, but I'll press play to see what happened on it. So there we go. We start getting a big squeeze. I think I sold it at 254. We're continuing to squeeze. I'm not sure how high it goes, but here we go. I ended up $11 on the stock. I don't know how much profit that was on that trade exactly. So right here is where I'm about to sell it. We can see I'm up $28 here. I'm up 14 in total on the stock, but by the time I press sell, all right, I'm up $11 now on the stock. So that's not bad, right? I mean, this is exactly what we want to see, is price holding up at a support level, and then you're buying it at the support level, and then off of that level, it makes a big rip up. I mean, this is exactly what we want. Okay, so what's my next trade? Let's see what this stock wound up doing. So I'm pretty sure that was my last trade on the stock. Yeah, so this was where I traded it, and off of that level, it's just made a big sell-off. Just been coming down all morning here. All right, so that's ISPC. Let's see what my next trade was. Okay, FFIE. So FFIE. I left some money on the table with this one for sure. So let's take a look at this chart. So at the open, we can see that we got this rip up from about 90 cents all the way up to $1.10. And then it pulls back and it comes down into the 20 moving average at around 102, 101. And off of that level, it ramps up all the way to 112. And, these are pretty big moves, right? Because this stock is only $1. So right here, just alone, this is a 10% move on the stock. So off of that level, off the highs, it pulls back, and now we're back into VWAP again. And I decided to go ahead and buy 500 shares at 103, 104. Let's see. I wind up selling it rather quickly because it just wasn't holding up. It wasn't popping up. Yeah, so I sold it, lost about $1. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so fast forwarding here, we're getting that push up. So it's like, dang it, man, I was in a good spot. I was in a good trade on this thing. And now we're coming up. If I would have held it, I'd be up maybe $5 to $10 on the stock right now. But let's see what it does. So we can see that it came down again into this level of support, bounced off of it, and now we have this very obvious level of resistance at 106. So now this thing is bouncing between 102 and 106. It's like that's the range that it's in right now. So we're holding up still, and then boom, it comes up into this 108 level, which is this level of resistance right here, right? So we have this clear level of resistance at 108. We came up into it, and I'm buying for some reason 400 shares. I think I bought for the break of 106. So I bought 400 shares, and I'm holding this thing because I was expecting this thing to really rip up, but it's like we got to trade smart, which I wind up taking a smart trade on this stock after I the mistakes that I made on it. The mistake I made was selling it early down here and then buying for a breakout near support or near resistance, right? So this was the move. Like, this was the move right here that I should have made money on. I would have made maybe $15 if I held it up into this level of resistance, and that would have added nicely to my profit. So, but instead I'm buying it up near the highs of this range right here, which is not smart. And let's see. So it's backing off that level. And what do I wind up doing? So here we go. So right here, I'm adding another 200 shares. Now I'm in with 600 shares at 107. And I'm just like, just looking at this, it's so obvious what's going to happen, right? We came up into this level of resistance. Now we're making our way back down into support. I wind up selling it before it gets down there. Let's see where I sold it. Okay, so it cracks down even lower. I'm down 10 bucks on this thing. I'm still holding it. I haven't sold it yet. I'm down about 12 right now. Okay, so there we go. So I finally sold it, and I am down $12 on this stock now. So far, I've traded this thing like crap. I was in down here at a good entry, at support. I didn't hold it. It rips up. And now I'm FOMOing in, basically, and I'm getting an entry near the highs of this range right here, up near resistance. And, of course, it's coming back down, and I'm losing on it now. But I'm thinking that if it can come down into this level of support again, I'm going to buy back in for a test of this resistance level again. So let's see what happens. So there we go. So we came back into that level of support. And I'm in total with 430 shares at 103.5. Right? So I'm in at support again. Okay, so now I'm like, all right, Adam, we're going to be smart about this. Right? So I'm really proud of how I traded this, right? Because I stuck to it. I wasn't dumb. And this is how I need to be trading. So I'm in at support, and now I'm like, all right, we're going to sell this thing up into resistance at 108. We're not going to expect the break. We're just going to sell it at 108. So here we go. We've bounced off of this level, and we're kind of going sideways. And I'm just like, come on, let's get that break. Let's get a nice break. So what does it do? So here we go. In this candle, we got a break up to 106. And now I've got my order placed at 108 to sell half, because I'm thinking, okay, if we tap 108, maybe we will get a nice break through that level. So I'm going to hold half, right? But I do wind up selling the whole thing, because I'm just like, man, I just need to be smart. And, breakouts just aren't really working a whole heck of a lot. Although we did have a nice breakout on ADTX this morning. But I wasn't thinking that we were going to get a breakout on FFIE. But I've got my order out there to sell it at 108. All right, we're coming up into 108. We're coming up into it. And I pressed sell because my order was behind all of these big orders. So if that's the case, I need to just go ahead and sell it at 107, because my order looked like it wasn't going to get filled. So now we're backing off of that level. And, I went ahead and locked up all the profit that I could on that. Right? Because we can see right here, I mean, geez, it came up into 108 and backed off of it. And I'm just like, okay, let's get back up there. Let's test it again. I'll press play on this. So it's coming up into that level again, and I can see that my order is like not going to get filled because of all the other orders in front of it. So I go ahead and just hit the market, and it just still looks like we're not going to break. So I just go ahead and start dumping it. But yeah, you know, we can see that we got this bounce off of these low levels back up into this resistance at 108. And I traded that really nicely. And so let's pull up the chart on that and see what it did. Because I believe off of those levels, it just sold off. Yeah, now we're back down to 90 cents a share. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so if we look at this, you know, this is where I bought. So I bought the first time right here. It came up into this level of resistance, came back down. I bought it down here again, and it came back up into this resistance again, and it couldn't break it. And so, and then, man, it really cracked down hard. So yeah, I'm ending the day up $32 or something. And yeah, I wasn't able to make it to my profit target. I took some dumb trades and I missed out on some profit again. So I need to work on that. I need to work on, you know, if I'm getting a good entry at a support level, to just hold it. So yeah, those are my trades from this morning. I'm glad I'm green, and I'm hoping that this week there are some great opportunities for me to hit my profit target. So, all right, guys, if you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe and hit the like button, and I will see you in the next one. All right.